Let's come to order. Welcome to our board meeting. The pledge tonight will be led by Mr. Wayne Blake.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, please join us in a moment of silence. Okay, thank you. Approval of the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion's adopted. Consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? I believe we discussed some of these things at our work session on Monday night. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion's adopted. I believe we have any visitors signed up to speak. That takes us to number 7, Mr. Gill.
We have a spotlight on education. A few years back, Ms. Barnes, who's assistant superintendent, head of human resources, also was previous principal at McFadden. And elementary principals love to be surrounded by artwork. They like seeing color on the wall. They like seeing posters on the wall. They like seeing artwork displayed. And she came up with the idea, it wasn't me, to start displaying art throughout this building. And we've done that since that time. And I have to, got to tell you, it has been a welcome addition to the school. When you walk through the halls and see the artwork, not only that, it's incredible, the quality of work that the students in this county do. It is fascinating. Everything from photography to paintings, drawings, sketches, so on and so forth. So it's a delight, again, to focus, to do a spotlight on some of the art students we have in this county, and I appreciate the parents being out here tonight as well. So that said, I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Barnes.
Thank you, Mr. Gill. We appreciate that. March is National Student Art Month, and each year at this time, we recognize the students whose artwork was selected for presentation here at the central office. And I know this has to be a very daunting task at the school level to select 1 or 2 pieces of art to send up here out of all the hundreds that come through the art classes each year at each school. So we appreciate the teachers' cooperation, and I'll talk more about them in just a minute. This tradition was begun in 2005. And again, this year, each school was asked to submit either a 2-dimensional piece of artwork or a 3-dimensional sculpture. The artwork will be displayed in the central office for a period of 1 year. And then next year at this same time, we do a rotation and we return that artwork to the schools, and we present a new piece of artwork for another year. It has been a wonderful addition to the central office facility. It brings warmth and color and tons of compliments from our visitors and our staff each year. And somewhere around mid-year, we try to make an effort to swap out the artwork within the building and change it out. So when you walk the hallways traditionally on one side of the building, you see a whole new view for the second half of the year. So it's a great thing. If it's okay with you, I will ask our art teachers that are in here to stand so we could recognize them and thank them for their cooperation. Any art teachers wave at us, stand? I know I send several emails throughout the course of the time between November and January asking to make sure all this stuff gets turned in on time. So I appreciate your assistance and cooperation and wonderful displays that you send to us. At this time, we're going to present the students whose artwork was selected for presentation at our showcase tonight. And as I read your names, students, we're going to ask you to come forward and stand, and we're going to let you stand starting on this end. And we're going to stand in front of the boardroom tables facing the audience. And for the older students, I'll ask your help as students come forward and they're smaller than you, maybe place them in front of you so the cameras can continue to see them throughout this process. And parents, just so you'll know, this is always recorded on Channel 19. So when you go home tonight or tomorrow, you can turn around and watch this again. And kids, you can see yourself on TV throughout this process. So make sure you go in and recognize yourself and clap for yourself when you see your face on TV. So, and pictures are certainly allowed if you need to step up and take a picture of your child. And then we'll hold the whole group for just a minute or two so that parents can take a group shot if you'd like to do that as well. So students, when I call your name, if you'll come forward. From Barfield Elementary School, Kurt Hatch, 2nd grade. We'll hold applause if that's okay with everyone till we get through, because there's several students. Stand with them if you need to. From Blackman Elementary School, Krista McAvoy, 3rd grade. From Blackman High School, Chelsea Blaylock, 12th grade. From Blackman High School, Kayla Parcel, 11th grade. From Blackman Middle School, Drew Morton, 8th grade. From Browns Chapel Elementary, Trenton Little, 4th grade. You guys see anybody in the lobby? Bring them in. Might have some late arrivals. From Buchanan Elementary School, Margaret Hamby, 2nd grade. Thank you, Margaret. From Cedar Grove Elementary, Jesse Miller, 2nd grade. From Central Magnet School, Lindsay Keller, 9th grade. From Central Magnet School, Megan Starling, 8th grade. From Central Magnet School, Dylan Upchurch, 8th grade. And if you wonder why we have so many from one school, sometimes we have 2 people join in on one project. And remember, we do different grade structures for different pieces of art. From Christiana Elementary School, Jacqueline Hernandez, 2nd grade. From Christiana Middle School, Joshua Eubanks, 8th grade. From David Urey Elementary School, Morgan McCrary, 5th grade. From Eagleville School, Samantha Brinkley, 5th grade. From Eagleville School, Zoe Zent, 6th grade. From Eagleville School, Stefani Guerra, 10th grade. And from Eagleville School, Caitlin Good, 12th grade. From Homer Pittard Campus School, Jack Satterfield, 2nd grade. Jack. From John Coleman Elementary, Kevin Ovale, I hope I said that right, Ovale, 5th grade. Was I close, Kevin? Okay. From Kittrell Elementary School, Alicia Mumpanthavong, and I'm not sure she is here. She didn't expect to be able to attend. From Las Casas Elementary, Kagan Ehrenberg, 3rd grade. From Las Casas High School, Madeline Lester, 12th grade. From Laverne High School, Christina Maximus, 12th grade. From Laverne Lake Elementary School, Nicole Juka. From Laverne Middle School, Kevin Ramirez, 6th grade. From Laverne Primary School, Emma Ristaw, 1st grade. From McFadden School, Jackson Underwood, 1st grade. From Oakland High School, Erica Maddox, 11th grade. From Oakland High School, Aaron Lester, 11th grade. From Oakland Middle School, Bethany Phillips, 6th grade. From Riverdale High School, Paige Phillips and Kyle Wood, both 12th grade. You guys step in behind the little ones, thank you. From Riverdale High School, Victoria Singsithovet, 12th grade. And from Riverdale High School, Raymond Palma, 10th grade. From Rock Springs Elementary School, Genesis Solorio, 3rd grade. From Rock Springs Middle School, Brian Montenegro, 8th grade. From Rock Springs Middle School, Taylor Tucker, 6th grade. Okay, this is where we get creative. Now place yourself in front of somebody, okay? So we can keep the line close to the front. From Rockville Elementary School, Skylar Luqueta. There we go, thank you. From Rockville Middle School, Victoria Miller, 6th grade. From Rockville Middle School, Dylan Starr, 8th grade. From Roy Waldron Elementary, Renedia Sams, 5th grade. From Siegel High School, Mary Ansley Chitwood, 11th grade. From Siegel Middle School, Alexa Stroh, 8th grade. From Smyrna Elementary School, Shavon Tanya Holness, 4th grade. There you go. From Smyrna Elementary School, Sylvan Patrick Moody, 5th grade. From Smyrna High School, Stephen Ciceroth, 12th grade. From Smyrna High, Kelly Bone, 12th grade. From Smyrna Middle, Dina Blake, 6th grade. From Smyrna Primary School, Trey Caldwell McDonald, 5th grade. From Smyrna Primary School, Isaac Uresti, 5th grade. From Stewart's Creek Elementary School, Shelby Stevens, 4th grade. You guys can smile if you want to, it's okay. All right. From Stewart's Creek Middle School, Alex Westerfield, 8th grade. Come on up, Alex. From Stewartsboro Elementary School, Alicia Younger, 4th grade. From Stewartsboro Elementary, Blake Younger, 1st grade. Okay. From Thurman Francis Academy, Michaela Burns, 3rd grade. There she is. And from Thurman Francis Academy, Marianne Leonard, 8th grade. From Walter Hill Elementary School, Tony Beaumont, 2nd grade. There you are. Come on in here so we can see you. Step in the front somewhere. There you go. From Whitworth Buchanan Middle School, Katie Davenport, 7th grade. And from Whitworth Buchanan, Abby Bradshaw, 8th grade. And from Wilson Elementary, Braden D. Giacomo, 5th grade. Right? Okay. Can we please give these wonderful honors to hold where you are, gotta take cameras. While they're taking pictures, I will tell you, your artwork is truly incredible. It's just beautiful, and we walk around and are amazed at the quality of work and the creativity shows in these pictures, so we're very, very proud of you all. Mr. Gill, or Dr. Burns, however you want to do this now.
I've kind of said my piece. I second it. You guys are tremendous artists, and appreciate you sharing your work with us, and just really proud of you.
And we appreciate you all coming out. This is one of my favorite board meetings of the year, anyway. You all are free to stay for the rest of our exciting meeting, or I'm guessing you might want to leave and wander around the halls and look at your artwork, for your artwork, and enjoy everybody else's. So we'll take a minute. If you want to slip out now, you're more than welcome. We want to thank you for coming.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
someone just tuned in, they probably think this is the best board ever looked. Because we're hidden.
Thank you guys for watching. Get your parents and all that down there. So,
It's on that end down there.
One guy didn't even show up.
Reshuffle the deck here.
I wonder if Don knows, this guy called me, Tim Holt.
Okay, let's come back to order. Ready for number 8?
Priority goal number 1, this is an information-only item. Technical education is defined at the board strategic planning retreat on February 12, 2011. There were 5 separate goals that the board identified. One of them was technical education, and pursuant to that, we formed a committee to develop recommendations, and that committee consists of Mr. Terry Hodge, Mr. Donald Jernigan, Mr. Don Odom, Kay Nixon, Carrie Holman, who's the principal at Laverne Middle, Bill Spurlock, Oakland principal Brian Lewis, and we've added a member, a citizen, Tim Holden, who called both Dr. Burns and I think maybe Mr. Jernigan too, and has real passion for vocational education, so we've added him to the committee.
Okay, thank you for that information. Any comments, or questions from the board? Again, this is in response to one of our priorities that came out of our planning retreat. Okay, number 9.
Recommendation for middle grades international baccalaureate program at Oakland Middle School. And obviously, Oakland Middle is requesting opportunity to implement an IB program at Oakland Middle. When we last met, we gave Miss Eaton permission to attend an IB conference that would allow her to gather subsequent information so that we could make a better decision. As you recall, one of the things that we knew we'd have to add would be 2 additional foreign language teachers because the IB program requires that as part of the middle school curriculum. Unfortunately, when she went to the meeting, we found out that there were other needs that probably precluded us the opportunity to pursue that right away. What she would need within 3 years' time is a minimum, and I say minimum. I'm a little skeptical that it could take additional positions, but she would need 4 foreign language teachers because every student has to be, grade 6 through 8, has to be exposed to a foreign language. Spanish, I believe, is what we said it would be, at least every other day or 3 times a week. That would be the equivalent of 4 foreign language students. Also, they're teachers. They're also required to have wellness in addition to their PE, which would require a minimum of 1 additional PE teacher, which brings us to 5 positions. In addition to that, there's a potential for, because of fine arts requirements, to perhaps even need another fine arts teacher, which brings us to 6 positions. First-year teachers, salary, benefits, and not that they would be first-year teachers, but would be the equivalent of $50,000 per person, which would within 3 years' time, take us to a $300,000 commitment plus at least 4 to 5 to 6 more portables, plus a place to locate them. Now, I'm not saying it's doable, and I'm not jumping ship here on it. Miss Eaton's volunteered to, on her own volition, to go out and try to find some additional funding to help implement this. That said, I think she was in agreement that we're in a bit of a dilemma down here. We're talking about maybe as many as 14 new CTE positions. The high school requirements are changing. We're going to need additional math teachers, science teachers. What else, Ms. Barnes? Don?
Math and science specifically.
Math and science specifically.
Standards kick in.
You factor in the growth that we're dealing with in Rutherford County, and then on top of that, you throw in the uncertainties with the budget. I think it's just risky for us to commit right now, and I think the commitment has to be made by pretty close to April the 1st to go forward with this. So I'm going to recommend that we delay doing anything on this, give Ms. Eaton some time to perhaps find some businesses or groups that might be interested in pursuing this, and put it on hold for till perhaps to pursue it next spring.
Okay, we have a motion. Is there a second? Discussion?
I think that it needs to be mentioned that we had discussed that this would be a pilot, and we were really anticipating, hopeful that we could do this in other schools as well. So we're looking at this cost multiplied several times if we go to it. So we need to be very sure that we're on solid ground. I'm certainly in favor of holding up on it right now.
Grant?
Is it any cost for the initial application?
About $10,000, wasn't it, Mr. Odom?
Application fees, $4,000, then there are evaluation fee, another $3,500, and also it begins to approach that.
And then I think after you're on it, isn't it an annual fee of $8,000? Okay. I mean, there's certainly a considerable expense attached to it. I think you used the right word. I was hopeful too.
Other discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say no. Motion's adopted. 10.
Revised out-of-zone enrollment criteria for the International Baccalaureate program at Oakland High School. Oakland High School is recommending a revision of the criteria for out-of-zone enrollment into the IB program. The revised criteria more closely align with the enrollment criteria at Central Magnet School. The current magnet school requirements are: A, student must have a cumulative 3.0 GPA in their 5 core subjects. For the previous 2 years at the time of the application, the student must also be at or above the 80th percentile in 2 areas of TCAP for each of the previous 2 years at the time of the application. And we're recommending that you approve the out-of-zone enrollment criteria for the Oakland High School IB program as follows. In order for a student to be admitted into the IB program from an out-of-zone school, the student must, 1, have a cumulative GPA of 3.0 in their 5 core subjects, math, language, arts, reading, social studies, and science, and score at or above the 80th percentile in 2 reporting areas of the most recent TCAP and/or Explorer exam.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we had Mr. Spurlock here on Monday, and we had considerable discussion of this, but if there are any more questions or comments, now'd be the time. Okay, seeing none, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion's adopted. Before we get to number 11, let me, first of all, we got a lot of teachers here, so welcome. We love to see teachers. Well, we love to see you more when you're not mad at us, but we always like to see teachers and students here at the board meeting, so you're more than welcome. We are a little, and I think you're here, and Mr. Cornelius will speak in a moment about the negotiations that are going on. Before we get to that, we're actually bound by state law as to what we can say about that. So I've asked Mr. Reed, our attorney, to come forward and sort of tell us what we can and can't say.
Sure. As the board knows, negotiations between the REA and the Board of Education is required to go through a process that's called, under state law, a collective bargaining process. That's something that's mandated by state law, and it's something the legislature saw fit to put into place to allow negotiation to take place between boards of education throughout the state of Tennessee and their various representative groups on behalf of the teachers, such as the REA here in Rutherford County. So in that process, both the Board of Education has named its own negotiation team to handle negotiations with the REA, and the REA likewise have named their own negotiating team to handle those negotiations with the Board of Education. And those teams have both been involved for many months for us to discuss the issues that are raised every year, such as salary, compensation, insurance benefits, any other type of employment type issues that are raised by the REA or addressed in between those 2 teams. So the board is somewhat limited tonight because you can't really get into the specifics of any specific requests of the REA and address those through this forum here tonight. You have to address those through your negotiating teams, and that's something that state law allows to be done both through the REA's negotiating team and the board's negotiation team. So the details really cannot get into tonight, but certainly those details can be addressed by your respective negotiating teams.
Any questions on behalf of, from the board members? Okay, so we want to be cautious in our comments here. With that prelude, Mr. Cornelius, please step up and be happy to hear what you have to say.
Thank you. At the end, I have a letter to reference, and I have a copy for you, for Mr. Gill, and for Mrs. Michaels that I'll go ahead and give her to submit, and then I'll read that at the end.
Okay.
I'll read that letter at the end of this speech. I want to take this opportunity to thank Mr. Gill and the board for allowing me to speak to you this evening. I come before you tonight not only as president of REA, but also as a concerned citizen who cares very deeply about the future of public education and the students with whom we work on a daily basis. Teachers in this county are on edge right now. Anxiety levels are at an all-time high and nerves are frayed. I hear constantly how many great teachers are thinking of retiring, going into other work, or simply relocating to other states to teach. Teachers have been the subject of many conversations on every level since January. Unfortunately, many of these conversations do not reflect positively on the work educators perform on a daily basis in Rutherford County. Educators are being vilified and disrespected by certain legislators. So much misinformation and incorrect political rhetoric is spewing from our own Rutherford County delegation. The current political climate does absolutely nothing to further public education or to improve the learning environment of students or the teaching environment of teachers. It only serves to alienate them further. We must remember that Rutherford County teachers always have and always will put the needs of students first. Keeping these facts in mind, in December 2009, the REA entered into an agreement with the Board of Education for its application to Race to the Top. The entire spirit of Race to the Top has been one of collaboration and cooperation. Even President Obama and Secretary Duncan clearly stated that teacher association cooperation was an essential component of securing the grant, and thus all local associations were encouraged to show the spirit of cohesiveness and unity of which REA and the Board of Education clearly demonstrated at that time. We have worked extremely hard to publicly support Board of Education initiatives at the County Commission meetings. We are not a self-serving, egotistical union. We have many community outreach projects, including the local charity, A Soldier's Child, and sponsor an educational scholarship in addition to Red Cross blood drives. On November 17, 2010, the REA began its bargaining session #1 with the Board of Education for the 2010-2011 school year. As early as August 2010, I made it very clear to Mrs. Barnes that we were going to come to the table early since the entire contract was open for negotiating. Hence, the purpose was to start early since the whole contract was open. I also made it very clear at the start that we intended to finish early and not to have many items simply hanging for a prolonged period of time. Mrs. Barnes was very grateful for that. She and we have also enjoyed a cooperative working relationship and have a strong mutual respect for each other. No one foresaw the unprecedented, ugly actions that the current General Assembly is undertaking right now. There is not one bill before the General Assembly that supports public education. Each of them seeks to destroy it. Public education has been the bedrock of democracy's foundation for many years. One piece of legislation aims to completely eliminate the current law which allows teachers to have a collective voice on salaries, benefits, working conditions, and removes all practitioner input while allowing all decisions to be made concentrated in the hands of school boards and directors of schools. Teachers that are practicing in the classroom and have been professionally trained and degreed are the ones best suited to help steer policies and decisions affecting their profession. Contrary to our state-level delegation's rhetorical misinformation, the proposed bill clearly prohibits boards of education from negotiating with any group or groups of employees, and now the latest amendment seeks to remove some educators from the bargaining unit. In 2006, REA leadership approached Mr. Gill and Mrs. Barnes about moving from collective bargaining to collaborative bargaining. both agreed at that time that the current system was fine. So REA has never attempted to shut people out of the process. In fact, all eligible members of the bargaining unit, whether member or not, enjoy all the benefits a member does when it comes to contract language, and that too is current law. House Bill 130 and Senate Bill 113 comes with a fiscal note of $16 million. Local boards of education are directed to get the savings directly from the pockets of teachers. The last time I looked, teachers are voting taxpayers too. It is also a fact that teachers pay their dues money from their pockets, unlike taxpayer-funded membership to the Tennessee School Board Association. The exact wording on the fiscal note is, and I quote, "Local boards of education may permissively reduce funding for insurance premiums and other negotiated items in the absence of collective bargaining premiums and other negotiated items in the absence of negotiated collective bargaining agreements. This permissive decrease in local expenditures will be $16,111,400. In common talk, it states, let's have local funding authorities balance budgets on the backs of teachers. A March 3rd letter from Mr. Gill and each and every one of you clearly states that, quote, teachers are the most valuable asset when it comes to maintaining successful schools. It states that you want to preserve the good relationship we have. Some politicians would like the public to believe we have an adversarial relationship. That is farthest from the truth. Clearly, it is the classroom teacher and our students who have made Rutherford County schools shine on state report cards year after year. And without 1 cent of a reward from the state in the last 3 years. The recent 2% bonus came from federal dollars, not state dollars. Teachers are going to work daily right now just to see what else they can be slapped in the face with from policymakers. For many educators, the only joy remaining in this profession is the daily interaction and instruction of our students. I know I got into teaching because I want to see the student finally have that aha moment and to understand and master mathematics as easily as I do. Teachers are still intrinsically motivated. After all, teachers make miracles happen daily. In closing, I reference your March 3rd letter again when you say, quote, it is important to continue to offer benefits and resources to attract and retain the highest quality teachers. You also state that you, quote, do not want teachers to worry that we are planning to degrade their working conditions if the state changes collective bargaining, end quote. I challenge you then to do what is ethically, morally, and legally right and responsible. Follow the current law that is placed and not a proposed assumed bill. Since there is nothing else to bargain, as we have already agreed to all Board of Education proposals, return to the table, sign the agreement, and ultimately prove to the teachers of this great county that you mean what you say. We also urge you to take a public stance against the ugly anti-public education bills that are streaming from the General Assembly since you were elected to support the best interest of public education. Until that time, we will continue to serve our students to the best of our ability. We hope your actions will support us. And then in closing, lastly, I read the letter, Dr. Mark Burns. It's to you, Chairman, Rutherford County School Board. Dear Dr. Burns, I implore you to direct the Board of Education negotiating team to return to the table immediately and continue the bargaining session that is currently underway. I feel that it has always been the intent of both parties to negotiate in good faith. However, the action of suspending bargaining pending the outcome of what may happen on the state level does not indicate the board's willingness to bargain in good faith. Both parties are under the current EPNA law and should conduct the negotiating of the contract in such manner. We should not operate or conduct business on assumptions of a legislative body. Sincerely, Keith Cornelius, President, REA, and Chief Negotiator. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Mr. Cornelius, for that. I think we all know where you stand. I don't want to say much in response to that. We understand here that this is a difficult time to be a teacher. The overall climate is not particularly positive. I certainly, and probably my fellow board members, feel like we're caught in between teachers and the state legislature. Now, wait a minute. We didn't jeer you when Mr. Cornelius was speaking. I'd appreciate if you didn't jeer me while I was speaking. You might not agree. You might know better how I feel than I do if you have some sort of mind reading ability, but it's a frustrating situation for us. As we said in our letter, we have no desire to hurt teachers. Why in the world would we do that? In fact, I challenge you to tell us how any of us in the time that we've been on the board have done anything to hurt teachers. There's no record of that. It's just not there. So, well, what we decided, and I understand that you do not like, and are not going to like our position. We have no idea what the state legislature is going to do. Can I have a turn? We just thought, on behalf of every citizen in the county, that the prudent thing for us to do is wait to see what the state legislature does. It's as simple as that. I guess I would just close by asking you to not judge us before this process is over. You're assuming that we're plotting something to hurt the teachers. So come back after the contract is signed, and we'll have another session, and we'll see what happened. Any board member have any comment to make? General discussion. Hearing none, we're adjourned.